Cajun capital of the world.
I'm the average Lafayette, Louisiana kid.
See, I'm back on my...
Hey, fellas. Hey, Brady Review said, congratulations. Say what's up, y'all. Yeah!
People that have courage don't have no extra gene. There's no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode, early afternoon edition of Rage and Review, as we take on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles later tonight. First pitch scheduled for 6 p.m. over at the Teague. So a lot of you heading over there right now. Some of you may be tailgating. I know Section A has some big plans this weekend. Thanks to some of you already for chiming in on the YouTube comments. We got Elliot out there talking about Gunner played for us. He got to talk to him after a game. Should have gotten an autograph, man. Might be worth something one day. But we're very excited to welcome Gunner Leger. We tried to get him on several times when he was a coach at UL. You know the situation. Was not allowed to come on the show due to various reasons from those that make those decisions. But now that he's at USM, we quickly jumped on the opportunity to come speak with us. And man, it was a great conversation. Lots of great stories, lots of great memories that he will talk about, including his path to USM, what we can expect this weekend. And I'll even give us some intel on some of the former characters around the UL baseball program. So we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll thank our sponsors. When we come back, we'll have for you all the head pitching coach of USM, Gunner Leger, back in a bit. We'd like to thank the following partners who make Rage and Review possible. Our title sponsor, the Best Stop Family Market, with locations in Katy and Baytown, Texas, Toledo Bend, Karen Crow, and of course the official location opened in 1986 in Scott. Visit the Best Stop and ask about the Rage and Review tailgate platters. Gulf Coast Bank, title sponsor of the Tailgate Show every Saturday, 3 hours before kickoff. Planet Radio 106.7, Lafayette Roofing, The Yard Goat, Yes Please Branding and Marketing, Old Time Grocery, Stride Safety Solutions, Eat Lafayette brought to you by Lafayette Travel, Rage and Hydration, and Dr. Brett Venable at Recovery Chiromed. And we'd also like to thank our Patreon sponsors listed here. For only $2 a month, you too could have early access to uncut interviews before they air here on our shows. You also get an exclusive Patreon icon next to your name on Cajun Threads, the official message form for Rage and Review. If you are interested in joining as a Patreon, visit us at patreon.com/Rage and Review. Thanks to all of our corporate and Patreon sponsors for making this show possible. We are excited to finally welcome the pitching coach of the USM Golden Eagles, Gunner Leger. Gunner, you know, that kind of makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little saying that. Not the Gunner Leger part, of course, but you know, you're on the other team, but we still love you, man. You know, still got nothing but love for you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been great. Obviously in the thick of it right now, middle of the season, trying to win baseball games. But no, it's been great. So it's, I mean, it was weird for me to put on the black and gold at first, but no, man, it's a special place, special people, a lot of similarities, man. I know maybe the fans don't like hearing that, but it's a very cool place.
Yeah, and they've got a great baseball tradition, as do we. I mean, Coach Robichaud led us for so many years. You had some great coaches over at Southern Miss as well. But you started, I'm going to go way back. You were Barb recruit, right? I think your dad was coaching at McNeese at the time, right? And
Yeah.
it felt like that was kind of the start of the Barb recruiting pipeline. I know we had some kids from Barb before then, but it seems like since then, Cicchini, we're really getting a lot of kids from Barb High School. You started at UL for, I think, 4 years, maybe 5, depending
Yeah.
on, I don't know how that all played out. But talk to us a little bit about your journey to UL. How did you choose the Cajuns as the choice when it came to picking a college?
Man, I honestly, I wasn't really that heavily recruited out of high school until kind of later in my career. Kind of a late bloomer a little bit, and had a couple offers from some other in-state schools, McNeese, Northwestern State. Got a Rice offer late, and so I had some good offers, and just had a connection. Coach, obviously, Coach Shakini played with Coach Robe at UL back in the day, and so there was a connection there, and just always went to his camps and kind of grew up around that stadium. My grandfather, the Lion, has had season tickets at the T shoot for probably 30 years. I grew up watching Hunter Moody play, Scott Hawkins, all those guys. I can remember going to the games. And so was just always in love with the place from that standpoint, and somehow got good enough to get an offer. And Coach Deggs and Coach Babb recruited me, and I came on a showcase camp, or came to a showcase camp. Had a good day, got an offer, and committed not too long after that, and was able to obviously get in and kind of came in at a good time after the 2014 season when that team obviously was so good, and a lot of guys left, got drafted or graduated, and so there was a lot of opportunity in 15, and just had some things go my way, and was lucky enough to have a good career there and be with a bunch of great teammates and great people and great coaches. So
Let's talk about your meticulous, is one way to put it. The way you took care of the pitching mound after every game was just something that you can't be explained unless you saw it in person. And I saw it almost after every home game. Talk to us a little bit about how much that meant to you to get it just right for the next game.
I don't know, I guess, where that came from. That can kind of be my personality, to be like very meticulous and perfectionist, I guess, in a way. But honestly, like when I was a freshman, Nick Zonbreaker was there with me my freshman year, who I played with at Barb. There was a couple other older guys that were taking great care of it. And it kind of like blossomed into a thing, man. And then obviously the year that I was down with surgeries and injuries and all that, my 4th year, and I felt like that was the only thing I could do to help. And so it kind of like, got a mind of its own and kind of got a life of its own, if you will, and became a thing. But it was really just kind of kept my mind off things. Felt like it was a good way for me to help. And Coach Roby used to always say it was really the only thing on the field that we had to take care of. And that's our office, and so we wanted to take good care of it.
Coach Robe, and we can go on how impactful he was to everyone's life. And I'm sure you have some great Coach Robe moments stored in your head. God, I knew the man for 20-something years. I do too.
Yeah.
Do you have any that stand out? And particularly something kind of goofy? Because Robe, people don't know. Robe would mispronounce words. He'd say the wrong thing, but you got the gist of it. And you could just kind of laugh to yourself and wrote it off. Do you have any good Tony Robichaux memories?
Oh, man. I don't know why this just popped in my head, and he's going to kill me when he sees this. But we used to do some workouts in the pool at the kinesiology building in the morning, sometimes in the fall and things like that, some pitching workouts, and love him to death. Wyatt struggled to swim, Wyatt Marks. And so one day, guy's going to be so mad. One day we show up in the morning, we're getting ready to go. We're about to head over to the kinesiology building, and Coach Rowe had put some of his grandkids' floaties in Wyatt's locker, and like the little arm kid floaties. God, it was so funny. We died. He didn't think it was very funny, and he's not going to think this is funny. And I apologize, Wyatt. I'm sorry. I love you. But that's like one of my just fondest memories, not because we were making fun of Wyatt. I mean, we all had a laugh together. It was funny. But I think, it was just his ability to do that. Like, that was his relationship with us. He could joke and kid, but we still looked at him like the general, and we respected what he said, and there was admiration there, but he could still kind of get on our level and interact with us.
Now, he has a pitching coach. What made him so successful? I know he had a pitching to colors technique and that type of thing. What made him so good over so many years as a pitching coach?
I think for me, man, now kind of being on the coaching side, just his ability to communicate to us and create clarity. Um, there was never, we always understood like what our job was and what we were trying to do. Um, how he taught us how to pitch and kind of his philosophy and that pitching to colors and that plate was obviously kind of a big part of it, and being able to change speeds and move the ball around and really pitch. Is obviously very simple. I mean, it's like it's not. I wouldn't say it's common sense, but it's very straightforward. But it was just his ability to get us to see the game through his eyes. And that would go back to when we're in the fall, and he would stand behind us when we're doing live at bats or doing scrimmages, and he would almost talk us through the sequences and kind of talk us through why he would go to this pitch and what he sees out of the hitter's swing, and just kind of almost read the game and play the game before it's even happening, and we used to always joke because a lot of times, we'd have a guy on the mound, there'd be guys obviously hitting, and then a lot of times the majority of the pitches would be behind him, behind a big screen, behind the mound, just kind of listening to the conversation, watching what's happening live. And we would always joke like he's got a crystal ball, because it was like, he would tell, let's say it was me up there, he would say, hey, I want you to locate a fastball away here. He's probably going to pull it foul. He's going to be on top of it. All right, then we're going to throw this pitch, and then this is going to happen. He would just like start rattling off everything that's happening. And if you could execute it 9 times out of 10, that's what would happen. But it was just obviously for him, in the day and age now where it's so much analytics and there's so much cameras and data and all that, his data was in his head and in his eyes, man. I think he had seen so much baseball, he knew it and knew what it looked like and knew the tendencies of it. And was just really good at seeing that. And I think he did a really good job of imparting that on us in a very short period of time.
Now, I know you're an analytical guy. I know you do. I think correct me if I'm wrong with Coach Ostrander, you do a lot of the analytics. Am I correct there?
Yeah. I handle a lot for him as far as that's concerned. I mean, honestly, I would say that Coach Oz is his philosophies are very similar to Robe, just in the standpoint of what's important to him and kind of what he knows and how he teaches it. I try and kind of meet everything in the middle from a number standpoint. And obviously this generation, that's what they grow up knowing, and that's what they see every day when they get on their phone, when they watch baseball, when they watch MLB Tonight or whatever it is. You see anything baseball related, there's numbers, there's data, there's spin rate, there's all kind of, exit velocities, exit angles, all that stuff. So for me, I try to meet in the middle with him and with them to where there's a line of communication and we're kind of all on the same page. And Coach Oz does an incredible job of that. I think he knows that's not necessarily his lane, but he knows it's needed. And so he does a good job of kind of allowing it to all work together in a positive way.
Now, what originally got you interested in the coaching world? What was it learning under Coach Robichaux? Was that something that you always wanted to do? What was kind of your path there after college?
Yeah, I mean, I had a cup of tea, if you even want to call it that, in pro ball, and kind of got caught up in the COVID deal. So I went to spring training, and then COVID happened, got released, and they were kind of all telling us that they were going to sign us back. And so for about a year, I was going back and forth, like, do I want to keep playing? What do I want to do? I kind of was getting older at that point, and obviously had the surgeries and things like that. And just, I really always promised myself I didn't want to just play to play. And I felt like that's kind of where I was at in my career. Whenever the world would have returned back to normal, which ended up being a lot longer than maybe we thought with the COVID thing. So I decided to move on, got into the business world. Honestly, initially I really didn't want anything to do with sports. My dad's been a football coach basically my whole life. I grew up around the game, grew up in a locker room, in a weight room, whatever that is. And I wanted to try a different avenue, got into the business world and got a couple opportunities in sales with some great people and great organizations. And,
I think I wanted to hire you at one point. I think you were looking for something. I told my brother, come to call me. I got him. So yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, man. And that's kind of like at that moment, that's kind of what was on my heart. I felt like that's what I wanted to do. And I was doing baseball on the side, was still involved, was running a facility, doing some things like that. And honestly, when it flipped for me, or kind of the switch flipped, was an 11 and 12-year-old travel baseball team that I put together with my buddy, with some of the kids that we were coaching and giving lessons to locally. And we didn't play crazy amount. Like, it wasn't, a crazy competitive deal like some of these travel ball things. We played relatively locally, but just being out there and coaching the kids and helping them and having the team atmosphere. And it kind of brought me back to the team environment where you have multiple kids and relationships and you're kind of navigating all of that. And I was just like, man, this is what I love to do. Like, why am I avoiding it almost? And so honestly, just walked into Coach Deggs' office and was like, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. I'll work for free. Like, I'll do anything, He gave me a great opportunity to kind of come on and be the analytics guy. And pretty quickly, some things got shuffled around with Coach Wells leaving. And then, he gave me an opportunity of a lifetime to be the pitching coach when, to be honest with you, I mean, I didn't even have a resume as a coach, and took a chance on me. And we'll never be able to thank him enough for that, and then now we're here, and had 2 great years there and learned a lot, and then continuing to learn a lot here.
Yeah, I was going to say, for whatever reason, and the reason doesn't matter, you ended up going to Southern Miss. And I got to think, when Coach Oz is on the phone offering you that position, it's a no-brainer, man. I mean, he's one of the most well-respected pitching coaches in the country.
Yep.
And right down the road, you get to come home and eat some boudin when you want to.
Yeah.
It had to be a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, man, it was, I obviously battled with it. It was tough. That's home for me. And obviously still love that place and love everything that it is and my experiences there. But like you're saying, man, it was just professionally, I knew in my gut, it was a no-brainer. Just because of who Coach Oz is and what he's been able to do in the game and what this place is. It's like I left a great program to go to a great one, and being able to be mentored by Coach Oz and be around the people here. And Coach Barry's still around, Coach Denson's still around. We have great assistants here and Travis and Ladd and Ben Brewer and just everything, man. It was, like you're saying, it was a no-brainer professionally. And, selfishly, it was like, I know I need to do this for myself. And that's what it's been. It's been even more, it's honestly, it's been more than that. And I thought very highly of this place and the people here before I got here, but, it's a very special place with special people.
And I got to tell you, man, I mean, 7 years ago, I moved here to Houston for work, and that was kind of the same thing. It was a no-brainer for my career, but like at the same time, I didn't want to leave my family and everything I knew. And now 7 years later, I'm moving back to Louisiana. That door never closes. So, things have a way of working itself out. You may end up back in Lafayette one day. You never know. But I think right now for you, this is a great career opportunity and with a great team. And speaking of the team, man, they've been ranked since the beginning of the season. I think, early in the season, they were really red hot offensively a little bit. You guys are getting a little bit inconsistent. Talk to us a little bit about the overall feel on the team right now. Obviously, the pitching staff is one of the best in the entire Sun Belt and in the entire country. You look at your hitting, again, kind of inconsistent. Some nights guys are really on, some nights not so much. What are you guys doing to try to I guess fix those offensive issues to try to match the intensity of the pitching side of things?
Yeah, well, I think, to be honest with you, the Old Dominion series, I think we dropped the ball, and I think our pitchers would say that, and I know our head coach said it too. We kind of all had that mindset after that series. The offense, I believe, had like 40 or 50 hits, scored damn near 10 runs every game. And obviously, I don't think that maybe we've pitched up to the standard here in conference yet, especially what we were doing early in the year with one of the toughest schedules in the country. And we were doing that offensively as well. I believe we were hitting like 275 or 280 through the first 17 or 18 games. And that was the number one strength of schedule in the country, facing frontline arms basically every night. So, my thing with the offensive deal, and baseball is baseball, man. You can hit balls hard and it goes right at people. You can hit balls soft and it finds a hole, I'll tell you that I think our team's in a great place. Our head coach does a great job of that. Our assistant coaches do a great job of that. Ladd and Travis, who handle the offense along with Ben, do an unbelievable job. And that's been a long-standing tradition here of hitting and having success at the plate. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. Again, you have your ups and downs throughout the year, especially offensively, as hard as it is to hit consistently with the arms that we've faced. But everybody's done a great job And I know our guys are in good spirits and competing really hard.
Yeah, just looking at some of the stats. I mean, you guys, you have Kyle Morrison, obviously, that guy's going to hit. You've got 4 players hitting above 500. We've got 1. That's Lee Amadei. We call him Big Booty. Just go with it. I yelled that at Houston. He was playing over here. I said, let's go, Big Booty. And then he hit a double. So, hey, it's working. Are there any players, and we're going to obviously get to pitching because you're not the hitting coach, but are there any players on the offensive side of things or maybe defensive side of things that we need to watch out for this weekend?
Sure, man. We obviously got a bunch of talented ones, I think our catchers can really, really catch and throw. We got 2 of them. Tuck is kind of taking more of the brunt of the workload, but Lawson is extremely talented. And I'd expect you to probably see him in some capacity. I think our middle infield, obviously with Kyle and Seth Smith are playing exceptionally defensively, knock on wood. We don't jinx that, but I think our defense is one of the better ones around, and we've been really consistent lately. So I think, again, I think we're kind of coming on the backside of maybe just a little bit of some struggles at the plate, which is expected, in baseball. And like I said, our guys are in a great place, and extremely excited to come compete at a great venue in Lafayette down at the T.
Gunner, the pitching staff that you guys have a team ERA of 3.75 and a fielding percentage on the defensive side at 982. What's been the biggest?
I think I lost him. Can you hear him?
We lost.
We lost him.
Yeah. Are you there, Lane?
There he is.
Yeah, I'm here. There we go.
All right, try that again, brother.
What's been the team's biggest reason for success on the defensive side of the ball and pitching, with your team having a 3.75 ERA and a 982 fielding percentage?
Yeah, man, I think honestly, part of this is just the things that I've learned, and handling the pitch calling and doing those things. And Coach Oz I think initially, as a coach, I kind of reverted back to how I was coached and the things that I did well. And so, I'll tell you early on, we were trying to do too much with a lot of guys in my first 2 years at Lafayette, and I think it kind of hurt them, trying to do too much with certain pitches and in different zones and quadrants of the plate and things like that, and led to some free passes, and getting here, just seeing how much Coach Oz, we just attack the plate, we attack the middle of the plate and we let our stuff play. And back to your question, I kind of say all that to get back to your question. I think that's what's led to our success on the mound. Obviously, the kids are extremely talented. They do all the right things, right? They work hard. They compete hard. They take care of things on and off the field. But I think it just makes it so much easier when you're in the zone consistently. And I would say that majority of that is our kids' talent level, and just they're very talented and they have the ability to do that consistently. But just how we call pitches and how we approach the game only betters that. The chances of that, I should say. So
now you were talking about the ODU series, and so with you've got arms like with unbelievable talent. You've got Cody Allen, Graydon Harris,
yep.
Sundstrom, and a few others that contribute out of the bullpen. I guess after a series like that, or midway through the season, when you're trying to make that late, or I guess you should say second half of the season, postseason run, what kind of areas of development or adjustments are you focusing on right now? Is it business as usual, or just do your job, attack the plate, and let things happen? Or is there something you're doing differently in the second half of the season to try to just tweak things a little bit at this point?
Yeah, I think that's all on like a case-by-case basis. I think, some guys, and I'll use Colby as an example. Colby's a legend here and has been one of the best to ever do it here. Rock star human and rock star kid. And for him, like even as of yesterday, we're talking about kind of slowing our tempo and our wind up and showing him videos from last year when he was at his best to this year and what ODU looked like and kind of working through some differences. And so, yeah, I guess you could say it could be a variety of things, right? The guys that have kind of maybe veered off the path a little bit and are struggling, you're trying to, connect the dots back to the original path and get them back going like they were early in the year. And some of them are, it's like, hey, we're rolling. We're in a great place. Our stuff looks great. We're throwing strikes. It's like, let's stay consistent. Let's make notes of what we're doing now, right? And let's make sure we're staying consistent and checking our boxes. That way you can be that person every time you get the ball and you go out there and do your job.
Who are some of the pitchers that have stepped up this year that many Golden Eagle fans might not have expected to step up?
First one that pops up in my head, I would say, is J.W. Armstead. He's a righty for us, comes out of the bullpen. He's a lower slot guy, like, 88 to 92 with a good slider, kind of a funky, tough at bat for a righty for sure. Hasn't really had a ton of innings here. Some of that is injury related in the last year or two. But he's finally healthy, and he's been a huge help for us out of the bullpen, getting out of jams and starting to extend him a little bit. He's going, 1+ innings and things like that. And you'll see him for sure this weekend at some point. Trying to think about the other ones, man. I mean, obviously we had a good freshman class that have thrown some here and there, but have had some bright spots. I would say the biggest glaring one, just because he wasn't here last year, is Cam Clark, the guy that is kind of the Swiss Army knife for us, if you will. He's kind of the LP, what LP was for us 2 years ago down in Lafayette. But I wouldn't say that wasn't expected. If you came to a fall game, you saw the potential there. You saw what his capabilities were. He had a ton of success at JUCO. And he's been nails, man. He's been a stud.
Has the starting rotation been announced yet for the weekend?
I believe it is tonight, potentially, if it hasn't already. So I'm not going to be the one to leak that, but it will be no surprise.
That's why I asked, has it been announced yet? I didn't want to put you in a weird position.
No.
Louisiana is struggling at the plate a little bit. And that's been documented through the whole season. Outside of Sawyer Pruitt, who I'm sure you're a little bit jealous you don't get to coach him on the Cajun side, because that dude is a dude, right? Like Robe said, dude's a dude. Yeah, Sawyer is a stud. But outside of our 3 weekend pitchers who can bring some good stuff, is there anything that concerns you about facing the Cajuns this weekend?
Oh man, I mean, Coach Deggs has been one of the best offensive minds for a long time. And obviously, can do some different things as far as how they approach offense, right? And he's done that really his whole career, from the run game to the short game, bunts, hit and runs, things like that. And the one thing that I go to, just because I've experienced it on that side of the fence as a player and as a coach, is the Teague, man. I mean, it's playing at home. We were always better at home when I was a player. And I think navigating just the environment, and our guys are fully capable and ready to do so, but just making sure that we're in a good place there and controlling what we can control. And I would say that's what we talk about, kind of regardless of who we're facing, right? Is making sure that we're ready to do our job, regardless of who steps in the box, throwing strikes, controlling the run game, taking outs when they present themselves. So I would say more than anything, we're focused on us, and we're focused on what we need to do. And that's kind of been the topic all year for me, and the tone for me all year with these guys.
And you are turning into a coach, brother. I like it. I like guys coach speak going on. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. We've talked about all the serious stuff. Gunnar Leger, when he grows up one day, he's going to be this. What is your career path? Do you want to be a head coach one day? Do you want to be a pitching coach in the major leagues? What is your goal career-wise?
Man, I think, I definitely know that I want to be a head coach one day, if I'm lucky enough to have that opportunity, and whatever that looks like and whatever that timeline looks like. But I would say, as far as professional baseball, I have had thoughts of that later in my career, kind of as I get older and maybe slow down a little bit. But I enjoy college, man. I enjoy the recruiting side of it. I enjoy having relationships with the guys, the camaraderie of that. And you're still trying to win, man. Winning's important. In pro ball, I would say that unless you're in the big leagues, it's not extremely important. And that's not a fault. I would say that's just a model, right? You're trying to prepare guys and make them better so they can have success at the big leagues, right? You're still trying to win games, but at the end of the day, you will sacrifice winning games and getting outs to better a certain pitch or better XYZ, right, in pro ball. And so that's kind of why I've stuck in college, even through my first couple of years. And so, no, I definitely have a desire to be a head coach one day, and like I said, if I'm lucky enough to be presented that opportunity and continue to, again, be a part of great places and great programs and learn and grow and try to make myself as well-rounded as I can.
Robe had a walk-up song that I got for him every time he went out to the mound, Green Onions. Do you have one at Southern Miss?
I don't.
Oh, man,
so
they gotta work on that.
I don't, Coach Oz handles all that, all the mound visits and all that. So I don't know that I need one.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Coach Oz
what was your walk-up song back in the day at UL? Do you remember?
Oh, man. I had a couple
I was
different
trying to
ones.
think about that last night.
My junior and senior year, or my third and fourth year, it was Tupac, pretty sure. It was Tupac, Hail Mary, Tupac.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you are right.
I had to edit that, obviously, a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It
was like every time we played Bling Bling for In and Out, it was just like, bling bling,
Yeah.
Everything was cut out of it.
No doubt.
So this is your first trip back to the Teague, and you're going to be in the opposing dugout for the first time.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from that atmosphere being on the other side of things, and are you expecting Section A to go after you a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, knowing those guys and knowing who's up there, I would expect nothing less from them, which I'll take honestly, and I'm good with. No, it'll be different, man, obviously. The only other time I've been in that dugout was in high school. We played Zachary High School whenever I was at Barb, and I was in that other dugout. I believe that probably is the only other time I've been there. So, no, man, it'll be different. Like I said, it'll be different. Obviously, great place. I think the good thing for us and for our guys is we play at a great place as well, and we're used to having fans and atmosphere and things like that. And played in front of a bunch here at Mississippi State a couple weeks ago. And so these guys are used to environments and just, again, navigating that and making sure we're in control of what we can control. But everything directed at me, I'll take with a smile on my face and understand it. So wouldn't expect anything less. Part of what makes that place great and part of what makes Section A Section A. So
there's a certain player that might want to watch out this weekend as well.
I figured that. So that's part of it. It's the whether you agree with it or not, it's the world we live in now. In college sports, as crazy as some of it is. So it is what it is.
But the cooking club got you back on the way out. That's
just it. Yeah, I figured that. Well, I'll tell you that that's all the coach has been talking about over here is getting some cooking club food. So I know they're looking forward to it. So hopefully they don't put any poison or laxatives in mine. Hopefully I can just have a good meal. So
I'll check with Marla. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Make sure they take care of me, please.
Lane, anything else on your end?
Yeah, I got a couple for you.
Yeah.
Now playing for the Cajuns and coaching for the Cajuns and now coaching for Southern Miss. You don't have to say which ballpark is better, but which ballpark is harder for an opposing team to play in?
Oh, man. I would say take the atmosphere out of it, like both atmospheres. I would say it depends on what you're good at as a team. I would say that Pete Taylor is way more offensive usually, right, with the wind blowing out, the dimensions and things like that. The tee can be an absolute graveyard, and so if you're not built to be able to create offense in that or have the ability to, it can get tough, especially if you're facing somebody that can pitch, right? I think here, at Pete Taylor, I think you can get away with some things sometimes, especially if the wind's blowing out. You can hit a pop-up and run it out of here, and that works both sides, right? That works against you and for you. So I would say it's a little different there. But like I said earlier, man, and I've said this before, I said it on the pregame show before last night's game. There's a lot of similarities, and I know that maybe the animosity between fan bases, maybe they don't want to hear that, but they are, man. It's very similar. It's great people. The community wraps their arms around it, man. The expectations are high, right? Both programs expect to win at a high level. And it's both very special places.
Got one more for you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory of playing at the Teague?
Man, I always go back to obviously the regional we hosted my sophomore year was awesome. Just the environment and everything around that. Um, I was selfishly like just me. I was lucky enough to be able to start obviously in the old Teague, and then I started the first game in the new Teague when we opened the stadium. And that's just something I always look back on, just because I remember how cool that was for me growing up as a kid, going to that stadium, watching with my watching games with my grandfather, and just being at camps and doing the different things that I was able to do growing up there. And then I know how important all that was to Coach Robe and to the city and the community and the people that supported the program when the stadium was getting built. And it was just really cool to see all that come to fruition and watch it be built, and then it just line up right where I'm the guy that's getting the ball, when we're opening the stadium up for the first time. Is something that I always look back on that as a really cool memory for me.
All right. I got some word association for you, and then
Okay.
we'll let you go. And by the
All
way,
right.
you said our fan base has hated you. I think I'm the most hated on Twitter. I know your dad sees it a lot. He watches. He's always engaged on Twitter, but man,
Yeah.
those USM fans go after me, and now I kind of deserve it if I'm not lying to you. But, we have some
just
frenemies
feel like
there.
those, like the two fan bases of Southern Miss, and like I just feel like they've been going at it ever since that they've been in the league together. I mean, when I was playing, like they weren't in the same league. We would play them in midweeks and stuff. It was usually double midweeks and stuff. We'd come up here on our way somewhere else. And we usually had good games and things like that. Atmospheres were good, but I feel like ever since they came in the league, there's been a lot of fireworks, to say the
I'm
least.
so pissed off at that midweek series. I mean, we split the midweek series in 18, I think it was, but we walked our way into the, into a loss, and we came back and won the next night. I was pretty pissed off that night, but I'm sure y'all were too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Some word association. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Shoot.
Old time grocery. First thought.
Fried shrimp po' boy.
T Mick.
Oh man, I haven't even. Oh gosh.
Come on, it's gotta be his pose.
Yeah, I was
man.
gonna say first thought is like when he rips his shirt off and he's flexing in the locker room. I mean, that's for sure the first thought, or the sunglasses, the Oakleys. So that's hilarious. I haven't.
We'd play the little Oakley video on the scoreboard for him, and he'd get all pumped. He'd act like, "Oh, don't play that," but he'd ask us. He'd be like, "You playing my song today, bro?"
He loved it.
Mickey, man, Big Lynn. What about Big Lynn? First thought.
Man, honestly, I don't have a ton. I mean, I would say like just loved and well respected. I didn't really get to interact with him a ton, unfortunately, but I know how much people around that place loved him.
This one's gonna be fun for me, Coach Doe.
He'll
checks. Look, I'm giving you the answers. I
He'll
need to shut
this.
up.
He'll appreciate this. So he would, when I was playing, he was in the bullpen a lot of times, working the phone and kind of being the bullpen coach. And I can remember I was only in the pen really a couple times, but guys would tell me stories. He would always be sitting up there. You know how he is with his leg crossed over, and he's sitting there just kind of laying back, leaning back. Oh yeah. He's leaning back. So he's working the phones. And Wyatt Marks, who's got like arguably had one of the best sliders in the country at that time. And Wyatt's warming up, throwing pitches, whatever. And I think he threw a couple bad sliders. And Wyatt ends up coming to the game. He tells me this after, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm warming up and I'm struggling to find my slider." And he was like, "Dope," just hollers over at me like, hey, just flip the switch on and off. Just flip the switch on and off. So he starts telling Wyatt how to throw a slider. And we used to joke about that all the time. God, he has so many funny stories. As much as we would mess with him, just in the bullpen at practice and things like that. I mean, he's got one good eye and one good ear, so he can't really see, can't really hear. And we would always joke with him, like we'd go on one side, the bad side that he couldn't really hear, and we'd be like messing with him. And then there'd be somebody else on the other side, and he used to get all fired up at that. But no, man, Doe's the man. We love him to death. So
my parents and your grandparents were really good friends. My mama's gonna be calling somebody after seeing this. She's not gonna be happy with you all about that.
That's
I thought about making a burner. Actually, I told my brother this. I said I thought about making a burner and making it Coach Doe's good eye. He said no, make it the bad one. I'm like, all right, I'll make it the bad eye. All right, best boudin.
Best boudin. Best stop.
All right, good choice. And
I see it
finally,
up there in the corner. I see it.
that's
up there in the
right.
corner,
That's our
so.
people. They'll appreciate it. And finally, when you boil crawfish, I don't know if you've ever boiled crawfish, but
Oh man,
when you go to a crawfish boil, do you like them
Yeah.
dusted or not dusted at the end?
I am so glad that you asked this question, because everybody over here wears my ass out because I say dusted, but that's the only way I've ever had them. And so I don't like, and when we would boil them, we'd dust it in the ice chest, and they kind of finish cooking a little bit, I guess, in the ice chest.
Right. You steam them in there. Yeah.
And so they're steamed. And so it's not like you have seasoning all over you, but if our assistant coaches here see this, I know Lad thinks he's the crawfish boiling connoisseur, and they all give me shit over here for the dust in the crawfish, and they say it's ridiculous. And so I didn't know any other way. That's like the only way I saw it. So, but they do. They like soak them for like 20 to 30 minutes or something crazy, and they got all kind of crazy stuff in there.
Well, I soak mine too, and then I dust them, and so you're getting double the stuff. But I think the misconception is that we're not like putting any seasoning in the water. I think that's what they're thinking when we say we dust them.
Probably.
How is more seasoning worse? I never get that, man.
Yeah, their argument over here is always that you have seasoning all over your fingers and stuff, and I was like, that's not. It's basically like melting
then
into
you're
the
putting
crawfish.
too much.
Yeah, and you must be dusting it on the table basically, because it's gonna melt, and you're not. It's gonna kind of dissolve. You're not gonna have it all over your hands. So, God, I'm so glad you asked that.
I mean, we're taking advice from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Like, they wouldn't even have crawfish if it weren't for us. But anyway, that's me to argue with them about, not you. I don't want to put you in a bad position. Have you tried Ward's yet? I keep giving them shit that Ward's is the best food that they have there. The Ward's restaurant. Okay. They have some I will say, their root beer, they put it in the little frosted mug. That's pretty good. Stay away from everything else.
They have some good food. They got some good little local spots here.
Probably all Lafayette people.
Not a ton of Cajun food or anything like that, but they got a couple good ones. So.
Not like Lafayette. Just admit their food's better.
Oh, man. I mean, I think it's tough. Lafayette's like a food capital of the world, I feel like. I mean, that's pretty hard to beat.
That's a good diplomatic answer. Gunnar, It has been a lot of fun, man. I'm glad we finally got to connect. I'll give you one last shot. What do you want to tell the Cajun fans who will be looking out for you this weekend?
Oh, man. Take it easy on me. So we're going to come in. We're going to, give them hell, compete our nuts off, and it'll be a hell of a series between two good teams, and let's have some fun.
Look forward to seeing you this weekend. Look forward to a very competitive series. Whatever happens, I hope there are no errors, because I love good competitive baseball, and I really do think that's how the series is going to be. Gunnar, again, thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck to you guys the rest of the season, except for the next 3 games, and hopefully it'll be a happy Cajun victory after, but you know what? If not, we're not going to hold it against you, man.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me, man. It's been great. Like I said, glad we got to do this, and go Eagles.
Safe travels, brother. See ya.
Thank you. Yep.
Picture paragraphs unloaded, wise words being quoted, beat the weakness in the rap game and sold it. Bow down, pray to God, hoping that he's listening. See it coming for me, my diamonds when they glisten. Now pay attention, rest in peace, Father. I'm a ghost, these killing fields, Hail Mary, catch me if I go. Let's go deep inside the solitary mind of a madman. Screams in the